Essentially, a professional guide in the Zimbabwean context is someone who's qualified to conduct walking safaris.
You know, people, they talk a lot about the Zimbabwean guides, which I'm proud of as well. I'm a professional guide because the type of training that we do, it's way, way better than the training which is done in other countries.
With the Zimbabwean system, on average, it's taking people between 5 and 7 years to qualify as a professional guide. Well, that's almost the same amount of time it takes to qualify as a doctor.
With the process that professional guides have to go through, you do find that there's always the guys that are passionate about wildlife and passionate about what they do that will see through those years to get their full license.
The fact that I was introduced to the bush whilst I was still young, you know, then I said, okay, this is the time and the right opportunity for me to now do nature interpretation.
When we go out there in the bush, you know, one thing we consider in mind is that, you know, we are entering into animals' territory.
The idea behind the training and the apprenticeship is to ensure that the guide is, you know, completely prepared for any sort of eventuality. If something goes wrong when you're on a walk, which, you know, could be maybe walking into a buffalo that's been wounded by a lion, it could be walking into an elephant that has a poacher's snare on its foot, it could be anything. And at the end of the day, if something happens, that he can deal with the situation and ensure that all his guests go home safely on that aeroplane.
So the course that we're doing at the moment, this guiding course here at the Hide, it's been led by Dave Christensen, who's a very well-known professional Zimbabwean guide. He's not just guiding within Zimbabwe, he guides throughout Africa.
The training course that we're doing now, which is, you know, for the Hide and its sort of associated camps, what happens is guides work in an area for a long time and they're often not always as stimulated as they could be. What this particular training course is designed around is the walking aspect. Concentrate more on tracking big animals and finding them and giving the people that experience of actually being able to track something, and you may find it or you may not find it, but it doesn't matter. The fact that you're out there, it's this adventure.
Obviously the Hide and the Hide's guests benefit from having better guides.
You can be a professional guide for years, but you can get rusty if you don't actually, you know, do refresher courses like what we did. It's really very important, even for people who have been guiding for many years, they've got to do a thing like this.
It's basically getting like-minded people together. We all like to discuss, we all have different opinions on certain things, discussing photographic tips, ideas on looking at animals, how would we approach an animal, and we're all learning from each other.
Guides work from day to day and month to month, and very often they don't get an opportunity to get out and practice shooting, practice with their firearms and things like that, and they get a little bit stale, a little bit rusty. They're not as fast as they should be or could be, or not as accurate as they could be or would be. It's like anything in life, you need to practice.
As a guide, you need to know how to hang your rifle and know how to use it.